everyone, and welcome back to today's video here at Military Collectibles. So we're looking at this headdress of the world. Before we actually dive into the bray itself, we're going to talk a bit about the history of the regiment. So this is the regiment of the Royal Welch Fusiliers, not to be mistaken for the Royal Welch Regiment. This is the Royal Regiment of Welch Fusiliers. It was formed in 1689. And it was formed by Henry Herbert. It was formed after the Glorious Revolution of 1688, after the exile of James II. It fought a lot in the Williamite Wars in Ireland in the 1690s, such as the Battle of the Boyne and the Battle of Aughrim in 1691. Two very, very famous battles in relation to Irish history. It fought in the 9 Years' War. And it fought in Terranova at the earthworks in 1695, which the famous song, or inspired the song, I suppose, the British Grenadiers, after that battle. It was also involved in the War of the Spanish Succession in 1702. This is where it became the Welsh Regiment of Fusiliers. This is where, after it got its name, the Welsh Fusiliers. It was equipped with the Fusil rifle, which was a lightweight musket, initially designed to protect artillery, was what the Fusiliers regiments were designed for. Then in 1714, it became the Princess of Wales' own Royal Regiment of Welsh Fusiliers. So, yeah, that's it. A long name in itself. Fought in lots and lots of different campaigns throughout the 1700s. Then up in the 1751, the reformation of the army again, it became the 23rd Regiment of Foot, the Royal Welch Fusiliers, and then it became a line regiment. Fought in the 7 Years' War. Fought all the way up until, or served in different parts of the world. Also served in the American Revolution of 1773. Was involved in the Battle of Bunker Hill and also the Siege of Yorktown. During the French Revolutionary Wars, it was in the West Indies in 1794 and participated in the capture in 1795 of the Port-au-Prince. It was also involved in the Anglo-Russian invasion of Holland in 1799, and then up into the 19th century it was stationed in Egypt, and it was sent to Egypt for the Battle of Alexandria in 1801. Stayed pretty much in Egypt until the Peninsular Wars of 1810, where it became part of Napoleon's army. Wellington's army, fought in the Napoleonic Wars, and then eventually fought in the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. Then in the 19th century later on, it was involved in the Crimean War, the Second Opium War, the Indian Mutiny, and the Third Anglo-Burmese War. Then there was more reformations in the army at the time of 1872, and it survived pretty much. It was not touched. Though in the Childers Revolution or reforms of 1881, this is when it became the Royal Welch Fusiliers on the 1st of July 1881. It was given some other regiments, other battalions. It was given a first and second battalion were regular army, second and third and fourth battalions became a militia, or were a militia. And then it had 3 volunteer battalions as well after that. The 1st battalion from 1899 to 1902 was involved in the Second Boer War, and the 2nd battalion was in Hong Kong, and then was in Hong Kong in 1902, and then they were transferred to India after that. The 2nd battalion then was involved in the Boxer Rebellion in China in 1900, and they fought alongside the United States Marines. So that's pretty much what it did all the way up until the First World War. Then the First World War broke out. 1st and 2nd Battalion were involved in the Western Front. Passchendaele, Third Battle of Ypres, Messines, Mézières Wood. Supposedly some members from the battalion or from this regiment were involved in 1914 football. Christmas truce. So there you go. The stayed in France all the way up for the duration of the war. Both the 1st and 2nd battalions. It was later on joined by its 3rd and 4th battalions from the territorial forces. Then eventually you had the 5th, 6th and 7th territorial battalions were formed. They also went as part of Kitchener's army. Some of those battalions went to Gallipoli, but the vast majority of them were on the Eastern Front, or sorry, the Western Front. During the interwars, during the Reformation again, or the Reformation of 1920, with the Territorial Army, it lost 2 of its battalions. It lost the 5th and 6th. They were amalgamated into one, but then it also gained the 8th, 9th and 10th reserve battalions. So it was a fairly substantial regiment. During the Second World War, when it broke out in 1913, the 1st and 2nd battalions were part of the regular army. They were attached to the 6th Infantry Division and assigned to the 6th Infantry Brigade, and they were part of the 2nd Infantry Division. They became part of the Expeditionary Force in 1940, and they were evacuated in Dunkirk. The 1st and 2nd battalion, the 1st battalion then, when it was reformed in England after a certain period, it was sent to British India to fight the Imperial Japanese Army, and then later on in the Burma campaign. The 2nd battalion became part of the 29th Independent Infantry Brigade. Throughout the war in 1942 it fought in the Battle of Madagascar with the Vichy French. Was then transferred to the South East Asian Theatre in 1944, and the battalion and brigade became part of the 36th British Infantry Division, part of an Indian formation. So both its battalions during the Second World War, regular battalions during the Second World War, were actually in the East India Theatre. They were fighting the Japanese. Its TA battalions, however, the 4th, the 6th and the 7th, they fought in Europe throughout the war. I can't remember off the top of my head were they involved in the invasion of D-Day, but I know they were one of their battalions, the 6th became the 6th Welsh Parachute Battalion, part of the 2nd Parachute Brigade, and alongside with the 4th and the 5th Parachute Battalions, they fought in Italy, the invasion of Italy, in Operation Slipstreak, I believe it was called. So they fought there throughout the Second World War. Then post-war, the 2nd Battalion remained overseas after the Second World War and was posted in Burma. The 1st Battalion came home and was put on other stations. The regiment did not take part in the Gulf War, but it did have numerous deployments to Northern Ireland during that banner. In the Northern Ireland Troubles, it did send troops to Yugoslavia during the Yugoslavian Wars, and a number of its personnel were actually taken hostage by Bosnian Serbs on the 28th of May in 1995. Served with NATO all the way through, shall we say, the Cold War, I guess. I don't know that it served in Afghanistan and Iraq. I'm not 100% sure, because I know it was amalgamated in 2004 with the Welsh Fusiliers and the Royal Welch, or the Royal Regiment of Wales, were amalgamated to form the Royal Welsh. So its museum is in Wales. I was actually there. We do have a video on it. It has numerous Victoria Crosses. Its battle honours are unbelievable. You have the Peninsular War, Napoleonic War, Crimean War, First World War, Second World War. It's got a huge amount of battle honours and stuff like that. So the headdress you're looking at here, now this white hackle, if I could just tilt up the camera a small bit, there we go. So it's got the white hackle, the standard Fusiliers cap badge with its motto on the script, and it's got the Welsh Princess of Wales 3 feathers on the inside on top of his crown. The beret looks black, but it's not. It's actually a very, very dark blue with the white hackle. The Royal Welch Regiment still wears the white hackle. It's got a different cap badge and it's got a different colour beret, but it did keep the white hackle from this regiment. So yeah, so this would have been their beret right up until after the Second World War, all the way up until the disbandment or the reformation of another regiment in 2004. So that is the Royal Welch Fusiliers, guys. Very, very, very historic regiment. Now this regiment, not to be mistaken, this is not the regiment that was involved in the Battle of Rorke's Drift. That was the Royal Welsh Regiment, not this one. This was the Royal Welch Fusiliers Regiment. So there you go, guys. I hope you found that video a bit interesting. I hope you liked it. If you would like to watch more from the channel, please like, please subscribe. If you want to contribute to the channel, there's an Amazon wish list at the top of the video description. And if you want to get in contact with the channel, there is an email also at the top of the video description. So thank you very much, and I hope to see you again.